Hello and welcome back. 5 reasons why I'm not an audiophile. I look up the word audiophile in my Webster's dictionary from the late 80s and in the Collins and Oxford dictionaries in the 1990s. And I couldn't find such word. So I did some research online, and the word seems to have come up by the late 1990s, early 21st century to refer to people who strive for having the best possible gear and obtaining the best possible sound from their equipment. Now, that makes me think, what happened between the 1920s and the 1990s, or the 1910s? People didn't like to improve their systems, people didn't care about how their records sounded. Of course they did. They were called music lovers, just like my dad. He had a wonderful gear. I think I've told you this many times in my videos, and he tried to get the best possible sound out of it. But being an audiophile carries with it certain responsibilities and, of course, a certain requirements you have to fulfill and that other people have to see in you to call you such a name. One of them is getting boutique label reissues and saying that most of the times they sound better than original pressings. This channel is called Vinyl in Perspective for a reason. I'm not on the side of the audiophile gang, right? But on the other hand, I'm not on the side of what nowadays they call original pushers. The originals are always best, the vintage pressings. I just think for myself, I buy whatever sounds good to me, whatever pressing, and I don't care if that pressing is a modern reissue, if it's a vintage pressing, or even if it's a digital format, although I'm mostly a vinyl guy. Now, the second reason why I'm not an audiophile is because nostalgia plays dirty tricks on me. I'll try to give you an example, and there are many. There are certain albums that I bought when I was a teenager that are absolutely engraved in my mind. The sound, it's incredible, but after almost 50 years, the sound is still there. And sometimes I feel just like a little kid, you know, the kids always want to listen to the same fairy tale or to the same story with the exact same words. And if you don't, they won't like it. So I suppose that I'm kind of a kid in that sense. And I want the albums to sound the same way that when I was, 14, 15, 16. I'll give you an example, right? This is, give us a break, Jethro Tull. This is the first copy I had when I was a teenager. I bought this album in 1978 to 79. So this was a reissue. I played this album to death. But the thing is that I always want the album to sound exactly the same way that it does here. Over the years, I've had many other copies, and of course I did my best to buy the Porky, the UK first pressing, this one. And objectively speaking, it sounds better, right? Fresher tape, you know, and everything is wonderful. It sounds pretty wonderful here. But for whatever reason that I don't understand, and maybe you can help me out, I always go back to my first copy and play it to feel the same way I used to feel when I was 14, 15, 16, 17, right? And that happens to me with lots of albums, but especially the albums that I bought when I was a teenager. I become more objective, so to speak, after that. And albums that don't mean that much to me, I can more clearly try to discern which the better one is. The third reason why I'm not an audiophile is because these boutique labels like Mofi or Acoustic Sounds, etc., right, Rhino, they seem to do the same warhorses over and over again. They never look for new albums, right? And you get so many reissues of the same thing that it becomes tiring, and I don't have the time, or I don't want to spend my time doing endless comparisons to see if this is the one, right? Because, as I've seen over the years, when you've made up your mind and you thought, oh yes, this is the one, they come up with another reissue of 45 RPM or whatever that seems to be definitive. So what I do is I buy an item, and if I do like it, whether it's a vintage pressing or a modern reissue, I try to stick to that unless there are very powerful reasons to make a certain move and get a new copy. The third reason, right, is that I found out that over the years, and talking to friends and relatives, right, that we all hear things differently. No matter what, we've got different ears, and our approach to music is different. Some people love high end, some people love low end, some people love huge sound stages, other people prefer I don't know, more depth, right, or I don't know, a bigger bass presence. So it is very difficult to please everyone with a reissue. So what I think is that most of the times the vintage pressings were balanced, right? They had everything balanced, right? And most people were satisfied with what they got, right? I've got a couple of close friends that are vinyl lovers as well. And we usually talk about that even the three of us cannot agree as to which the best sounding copy or the best sounding pressing of an album is. And we have similar tastes, but the way we hear things are absolutely different. And finally, the last reason is what I call the road to frustration. You start with, say, an entry-level turntable and stylers, a decent amplifier and decent speakers, right? So you have to move up the ladder, and then you want a better stylus, you want a better turntable, you want to upgrade your loudspeakers, and it seems like it's never enough. When is good enough? Some people buy, let's say, the Nagaoka MP110, which is a good sounding stylus. And then, well, yes, but the MP200 is better, so they buy the MP200, and then the 300, and then the 500, and then they found out that they prefer the Grado sound, or the Audio-Technica sound. They try one turntable, and then they switch to another one. And to me, there's this wasting time, right? I think that if you change an element, right, on your sound equipment, you have to be very careful the movement you make, right? Because sometimes it's not changing the stylus or the preamplifier what does it. It's the synergy. It's a lot of things that have to work together to get a certain sound. So I'm a much happy camper when I find out that that synergy, and I like, you know, the way my equipment sounds. It's taken me a long time. Will I make changes in the future? Probably, but I'll be very careful as to, you know, which steps to take, because it's all interconnected, and you might make a mistake and you will pay handsomely for that. Right, so I hope I have made my statement. Let me know what you think about this. Do you consider yourself an audiophile? Are you just a music lover? Just let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and bye for now. Take care.